The new strategy in industry and government must be to incentivize and de-risk investments in low-carbon and innovative technologies while enhancing stakeholders' capacity for mitigation. The Global Commission on Adaptation also emphasized the need to empower local governments and people in managing climate risks and disasters and urged for greater financial allocations for climate adaptation initiatives and programs. As we strive towards resilience and nature-based solutions, this has become the new currency. The key is incorporating local communities and stakeholders into the development and execution of programs. We must heed and uphold the principle of build right at first sight, which entails planning, executing policies and programs right for the first time using science. We must make sure that our limited resources are optimized to prevent further loss and damage to our communities. We have enacted significant environmental laws. To name a few, they're enumerated above. I don't have to say all of them, but it's clear from 1998, from the Clean Air Act to the Solid Waste Management, up to the e-NEPAs of 2019. We must strengthen our human capital and invest on the Filipino people. The challenge is to breathe life into these laws, programs, and policies. We need to make these laws work for the poorest of the poor, our most vulnerable, our most marginalized. We need to see in our national budget whether these laws are actually being implemented and funded and have changed the lives of the vulnerable populations. The bigger task for us is to build safer and resilient communities where Filipinos have better job opportunities and equitable access to social services like healthcare and education. By establishing livelihood training programs and providing technical and financial support for our farmers, fisher folks, and even indigenous peoples and workers, we create an enabling environment where Filipinos can succeed and eventually provide for themselves. That is why we are pushing for stronger support for micro, small, and medium enterprises already enacted into law in 2007 and create more employment opportunities. Our Human Capital Index in 2020, the Philippines scored a rating of 0.52, implying that children born in the Philippines today are likely only to fulfill 52% of their potential when they become adults. The risks and challenges of investing in human capital have gotten even more significant in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and the climate crisis. Strengthening learning interventions for our children is therefore essential. These educational programs must be tapped to promote critical concepts like climate change adaptation and mitigation, disaster risk reduction and management, and sustainability, even regeneration. This is what we primarily took into account while pushing for the One Tablet, One Student Act, which will assist our students in coping with the learning modalities of the present. And I'm glad the State of the Nation address of the President mentioned about the need for connectivity and individual devices for our children. Mr. President, there is no time or room for complacency and indifference. It is time we work towards resilience as a country's priority strategy in a response to the pandemic and the climate crisis. We must heed the call of science and our experts to pursue and realize economy-wide and community-based measures that aim to reach our goals sooner rather than later. President Marcos himself said that our response to the climate crisis should be just as urgent. Let us invest in where it truly matters so our development gains will not be wasted come another typhoon or disaster. Let us strive for a better normal by enabling genuine and lasting resilience for all. Together, we can lead the way towards a resilient and sustainable pandemic recovery for all Filipinos, for all species of the world, and for our future generations. Thank you, Mr. President.